showtime.
The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers.
Hey everybody, it's the 200. Welcome back to more of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Blind. Last time we finished up the last set of parts of what we needed to do from a little investigation. Took me way shorter than I thought it was. But in any case, let's get started.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please.
The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. Evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact.
I see. Very well. I will let you move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness.
First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Dick Gumshoe, to the stand. His name was not even in that.
Detective, if you briefly describe this case to the court.
Yes, sir. I'll explain it with a guy map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors that did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studio. The security lady that works at the studio was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. Was that tree over there? I don't remember. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 5th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All of the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was canceled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Yeah, skip it. I got this. I could probably remember that.
So the murder weapon was a spear.
How medieval. Alright.
Your Honor,
This case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see?
understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand.
Will the witness declare her name? Oh, aren't you a handsome fellow? Oh, God. She's a cougar. I'm afraid I'm a little bit flustered. Your name, please! Oh, dearie, no need for you to be so embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please! Seems Edgeworth has a bit of a trouble getting his witness to say their name. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma, and oh my God. I'm not even doing this.
Objection! I object to the witness talkative! Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand.
I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony? Now, the witness was stationed on the main gate on the day of the murder, correct?
Yesy, I was.
And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony.
She's one hell of an old bag. I see what you did there. Alright, hey, let's do it. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Okay, that's fine. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through of the scene in the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, I was at 1 p.m. when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers! That man right there! And he was heading towards the studio!
You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. Alright. Where do we begin?
So up until that time, anyone who wanted to could go into the studio?
Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dearie. You need an employee card key to get in.
Right, the card key that I have. So, what she's saying is no one who wasn't supposed to get in there could get in. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at the gate guard station?
Bro, Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through since this morning.
A run-through?
They were working on the scene in between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the bases figured out by noon, and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why Paul and Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. Powers was in his dressing room sleeping, when they're supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero.
If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there afternoon?
I had some errands to run that morning. Alright, what kind of errands?
Goodness, I could have echoed that better than myself.
Oh, well, you know.
Answer the question.
Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know.
Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station?
Whippersnapper! I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job!
I'm sure your boss would see it that way.
Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through, too.
You could quit being a spirit medium and take on guard duty. Not a bad idea.
Anyway, it was the 1 when I got to the station.
Okay. Did you see the victim then?
Did I see poor old Hammers? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station.
Tell us what happened next.
I was at the main gate from then until 5.
So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second?
Of course! I'm a professional, you know! Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper?
No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday.
I can watch again and eat donuts at the same time! Snapper whapper! Snapper whapper?
A windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witnesses was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see?
Now the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right?
So you walked right by me at 2 p.m., okay. 2 p.m., you sure?
Sure as spit.
Well, who was the man?
Really? You should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies in a bunch. I'll tell you what it was. It was Powers. That man right there, and he was heading towards the studio.
So you saw Mr. Powers?
That's what I said! Go wax it in your ears, Sonny! This is your chance. You have time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him! So I'm assuming we want to do this.
Objection!
Objection!
Yeah!
Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Old Bag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right?
Yeah. Well, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai!
Huh? I know that! I wasn't born yesterday!
No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss, Witness.
Having trouble calling her old bag, apparently.
However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Powers, do you?
Noisy old man. Of course I have proof. What?
Huh?
Even Edgeworth is surprised.
The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please to make known all the information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even get it in a second look.
Wow, old windbag hasn't left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then.
I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty badly. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg, see? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy?
So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. I don't know about squeals, more like spills the beans. Whippersnapper! Hey, I haven't said anything yet. I'll have you know, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I said is on the straight and narrow. And yeah, but you today always wondering about other things. Oh my God!
Mr. Wright, please, for our sake, try not to upset the witness.
I think Edgeworth hasn't met his match. Alright. Might as well.
Who was present at the run-through?
Well, let's see. There's Powers, he's the Steel Samurai, the poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate, and me.
What exactly were you doing?
Observing. Just observing.
What about the assistant?
Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. So we didn't see the run-through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. She's a practice designer and the assistant. Saw Power and Hammer's practicing. Wait a minute. Yes, and I think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Power sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped make it better.
I kicked it where it hurt.
Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
You may continue your testimony.
He broke one of the props. It was a big mess.
He broke a prop.
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
Samurai spear? The murder weapon.
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
This strikes me as a significant detail. I'm gonna write this down in the court record. Alright.
Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad.
Alright. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went into his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
Thus the nap.
Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked.
Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't you, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Which is... Where's the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure, Your Honor? Let's wait and see what happens. I'll wait and see where this goes. I suppose since there weren't any additional crew members in the studios that day, quite likely that it was the defendant inside that costume. See the problem with this evidence. Most perspective, Your Honor.
Still doesn't seem that convinced to me.
I hope. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
The time of poor Hammer's death was at 2 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
Wait a minute. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Yeah, wait a minute.
That was at 2:30 p.m., true. How do you know that?
Eh? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts into the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything.
See, Detective Gumshoe shares fellow officers' fondness for donuts.
The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers.
Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody's suspicious looking passed by it at all.
Nobody's suspicious looking. Right.
No one else went there.
What about before you got to the guard station?
You mean before one? What, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them.
Hold on a minute. Something strikes suspicious on this one. I don't want to present anything yet. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness.
That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy.
Edgy boy?
Well, Windbag sure has balls, or, well, you know what I mean.
Windbag has a way of skipping over important details after all. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them.
How convenient.
Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Okay. I've seen them.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You had to have patched this up at the time. Should I risk it? Wait a minute. Let's go back and think back. Because you were there from earlier. You patched up that spear from earlier. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna risk it. Risking it. Objection! Objection! Dang it! I was wrong. This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence to the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Not at all. Mr. Wright, please state the fact before making accusations. I think that one man who points into the judge. I've seen them. I'm at a loss. Like, I don't understand. Okay, I need to step away for a moment because I'm wasting a lot of time in this and this is getting me nowhere, so I'll be right back. Okay, I actually went ahead and I looked back at when I was looking at from the past of my past recording, but then I remembered something. It's this. Objection! Objection! There we go! Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studio, correct? Yes, sir, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the words and photos are printed the words, this is what I was talking about. Photo numero dos. Where's the first or the next one? Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. Yeah, even I kind of overlooked this one, my fault. The issue is that the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. The evidence showed that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there was only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access! The security lady herself! Eh? You watch your mouth, whippersnapper! The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera was on the gate and fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these new fangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too.
Uh-oh.
Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Miss Oldbag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate? Someone other than the Steel Samurai?
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please.
Yeah, I even had the photo number 2 right there in my evidence in court cases. Alright, here we go. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out one photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Miss Oldbag! This is the first I've heard of this!
Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination.
Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Alright, here we go. Alright.
Another job.
That's right! I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos that the security camera takes.
Do you back up all the security camera data?
Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating.
How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking?
Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces. For the most part.
For the most part. This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag.
Well, I didn't touch that suspicious looking Will Powers photo, did I?
I think she's missing the point. Alright, I need to ask her about this.
Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy.
Fanboy.
Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows wheres. They're always hanging about. One was there that day.
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area.
Yeah, I remember that now.
The drain has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain?
I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers.
Kids? So on the photo that you erased,
It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
what? Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on the way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade? I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy.
Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no breaking and vinyl information this time. Mr. WP? Yes? tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio?
I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? Should take better care of that stuff.
I couldn't imagine anyone who would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me?
It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick! What are we going to do?
First, we play for the time. We'll start targeting someone else who could conceivably have done this.
Right. And I'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day.
Right. But if you pick the wrong person, you might lose on the spot.
You don't sound very optimistic.
I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey, Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go.
Hike!
What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. The court will now reconvene here for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter?
The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy, roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But there is still no one else who could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant of Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime.
Order!
Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. But the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? Well, I don't want to say this. The assistant girl? The grade boy's out of the question. The only other person who could have done this could have been the security lady. The assistant girl was off doing something else. Well, here goes. It was the security lady! Windy old bag! Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady old bag!
What? Whippersnapper!
Dodge the bullet! Order! Order! Is this true, old bag?
Old bag? That's Miss Old Bag to you!
Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone in the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal a Steel Samurai costume. When slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in this costume, she could have pointed the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent detective reasoning, Mr. Wright.
Oh yeah, right here.
Sherlock Holmes in 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't you should jump up with an objection to some new damning evidence?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter?
The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Angie boy, don't just sit there, do something!
What's my move? I mean, now's my chance to take this whole thing away. Let's press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammers?
You forget that Mr. Patterson lacks a clear motive, too. Indeed.
I did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. More feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute! What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased!
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
That doesn't matter! When I was that age, I could pin my own man in 10 seconds tops!
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? The boy's not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders' days? Whippersnapper!
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed? Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? I kind of want to show off the samurai spear in this, because it's too heavy for a child to lift. Because there was no way he could have been able to carry this thing. Take that!
Take that!
Your Honor, the murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible! I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag, speechless. That has got to be a first. Very well. The court will suspend proceeding on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further onto this old bag before we can continue. That is all. The court is adjourned.
Wait a second! Oh, come on! I'm not going to just sit here while you run a bucket up the wrong tree! Me! I'm talking! Oh, great. Stop the presses. Windbag wants to talk.
Miss Olbeck, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, it's something I was told not to talk about.
Not talk about? By whom? It wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk. Well, testify!
Come on! I thought we were done! Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people in the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studio that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not gonna... Then don't get away with scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this in the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witnesses the power of the ore bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Fine.
Let's do it. So you were told not to talk?
That's right, by the studio and TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in it. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder.
Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director. We should have known something that was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course!
Yes, well, I'm surprised no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
Director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? Was it Studio 2?
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I've already asked all my questions, but... maybe I'll take a break.
Your Honor, We have learned there were others in the global studios on the day in question. The director and the producer, and there are some bigwigs who were all present. Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Orbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends today's proceedings at the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. No more, please. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright! I was right to ask you to defend me!
Aw, really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I?
We'll be going down... excuse me. We'll be going down to the studio to do some more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. Now's our chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have you figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Oh, Windbag, I feel kind of sorry for her.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right, we'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks, guys!
Okay! Yeah! Aside from that one little hiccup, and then I completely overlooked something even just a little bit.
We're gonna end things off right here. Next time, time to head back to the studio. Hopefully make our way to studio numero 2. And see if we can find out more from the director and the producer.
Suspicious.
See you guys then.